Hey babes, it's Sav, and today I'm doing just a little bit of a different video. Today I'm going to do a story time video, and I've wanted to do one of these videos for a really long time. So basically, if you don't know what a story time video is, it's just where I tell you a story of a time that actually happened. Like, I'm not making any of this up. And we're going to be very basic. Today, I am telling y'all a story about whenever I had an asthma attack on my first night at church camp. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Okay, so the church camp that we are talking about is a church camp that I've gone to for a really long time. About 9 years here or there. It's probably 9 or it'll probably be 10, I think, after this next, like when I go back again in the summer. But anyway, I've gone there for a really long time, but this week that we're going to be talking about in particular is the 4th of 6 weeks, I think. It might be 5, but the 4th nonetheless of the amount of weeks that the church camp hosts. But the thing that's different about this is that this 4th week I haven't gone to for a really long time. I've gone to the first 2 weeks. So although I was very familiar with the place and some of the people, I was not at all familiar with this week of camp that I was going into. So I was going into this 50% really familiar thing and this 50% totally I don't even know what I'm doing thing. And yeah, I had an asthma attack the first night. So I'm just going to go ahead and we'll jump right into it. You get there on Sunday like evening around 3, and you stay for the whole entire week all the way through Saturday, and you leave around 9, 10 in the morning. Okay, so it's like a week nonetheless. And so I was here, and it was the first night that we were staying the night, and I was sleeping in a bed next to my friend Sydney and under my friend Carly. So I was next to people that I knew and loved, and like across from me was my friend Brooke. And so, I mean, I was okay. Now, if you aren't familiar with what asthma is, it is a condition with lungs that makes it really hard to breathe. And I've had that ever since I was little, and it's not mild, it's not simple. I don't want to say severe because that sounds like really bad, but my asthma is definitely something that I have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. However, during the summer, it's not typically as bad as it is during like fall and winter because, or at least in Texas, not necessarily for other states, but for my personal experience in Texas and as well as many others, asthma gets a lot worse for most people during the fall and winter months because of the amount of pollen in the air and all the allergies that are coming through, because allergies really can affect asthma. And so I wasn't really expecting for anything to happen this week with my asthma, other than like needing my inhaler every now and then between sports activities and stuff, because I mean, that's how asthma goes. And so we were there, and it was Sunday night, I believe, and I just started feeling sick to my stomach. Now, I don't know what it's like for other people to have asthma attacks, but typically for me, not all the time, but a lot of the time when it's an asthma attack that's not related to exercise at all, I get really sick. But I mean, everybody gets sick. So I wasn't really in my head thinking that this could potentially be an asthma attack because it was summer, and that doesn't really happen for me unless it's, you know, in softball or exercising or something. And so I wasn't really prepared for that, and I just told myself, I was like, it's okay, Savannah, just go to sleep. You'll be fine. Let's try really hard not to get sick. I was feeling a little bit hot, but it was already like 11:30, maybe midnight. And so the nurse of the camp, I didn't really want to bother her this late because she was probably sleeping. So I went ahead and I went to sleep, and I was waking up constantly, like every 10 to 15 minutes, if I was lucky, every half hour, just sick to my stomach, trying not to puke. And I don't really remember every single second of the situation, but I do remember getting up and actually going and throwing up in the bathroom. But I wasn't going to wake the nurse up. Like, this nurse has so many people to deal with, you know, every single day of this week, and she has to like give everybody medicine in the morning and at lunch and all this stuff. And I mean, you know how some people have different things, and so this nurse was in charge of that. And I was like, okay, whatever, I'm just sick. It's not that big of a deal. What's she going to tell me to do? Go to sleep anyways? Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. If I'm still sick in the morning, I'll let her know. But it progressed. And over this time, I was like using my inhaler, and I would wake up and I would use it. I'm like, okay, it's fine. Like, I'm breathing a little bit heavy, but I'm okay. It'll wear off. I'll wake up and I'll go do breathing treatment in the morning. But that probably wasn't the best decision on my part. And I remember being woken up really early in the morning. I don't want to say it was like 2:30, and I don't want to say it was like, you know, midnight. I'm not really sure. But I was woken up by my friend Carly, who I was sleeping under, and she was like, Savannah, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, what's up? I'm sick. Is everything okay? And she's like, you are like not screaming in your sleep, but like crying in your sleep. And she was like, I'm worried about you. Is everything okay? And I was like, I can hardly breathe. And she was like, okay, well, you feel really hot. And I was like, yeah, I threw up earlier. I don't want to get you sick. And she was like, Savannah, are you sure you're okay? Because she knew about my asthma. Now, she wasn't 100%, like, knew about it. But, like, she knew that it existed and that it was, like, an evident problem in my life. And she knew enough about it to be like, okay, hold on, wait a second, let's make sure everything's okay. And so, luckily, she was a really good friend, and she did that. And she went and she woke the nurse up. And this nurse, praise the Lord, she's a really good nurse. And I don't think I remember her name. I haven't been back to that camp. But, they came and got me, and we went down and they started doing a breathing treatment for me. Because I brought, like, all of that with me, just in case. Because I was in the woods, and I'm allergic to different things down there, but it's never been this bad. Because I've gone for years and years and years and never had an asthma attack or this big of a problem. I've always had little problems, but never, like, this far on the scale. And so they woke me up and they took me over there, and I asked Carly to stay with me because, like, yes, I've had asthma my whole life, but it still is scary sometimes. Now, it's not as bad, as when I was little, but it's still kind of scary to not be able to get air into your lungs sometimes, and then you're scared, so you're breathing heavy and fast from being scared, which makes it worse on your lungs, which is really stupid, and I should probably learn to get over that, but it's scary, and I'll go ahead and say that. And so we go down, we leave the girls' dorm, and we go down, and I'm doing a breathing treatment, and they wake up. There was not a paramedic, I don't know, one of those fancy doctor-y people there, and she was like, oh, hey, Savannah, you're having an asthma attack. And I was like, oh, awesome, because, like, I've had asthma attacks before, but there's different, like, levels, like, there's, like, I can't breathe. Now, that's not necessarily an asthma attack, that's, like, I need my inhaler, but sometimes they're so close, it's hard to tell the difference after a while, because you're so used to thinking, oh, I can just push this off, if I just go real slow, I'll be okay. And, I guess you get so comfortable in how you normally deal with it, that when it's really serious, you don't really understand what's actually going on. And I was like, okay, so what now? I'm having an asthma attack, and I haven't had one that was like this serious in a while. And she was like, okay, we'll get in the car. We're going to take you to the ER. And I was like, hold up. You know how long it's been since I've had to go to the ER for my asthma? Because I've always had it under control. Like, I've always known what to do. And they were like, yeah, we're going to take you. And I was like, oh my gosh. But Carly stayed with me because she's an awesome friend, and I love you, Carly. And side note, I might be going to college with her. Woo! But anyways, yeah, okay, past that. But she went ahead and she went with me, and we did not get back until like an hour before all the other campers had to get up for their camp day or whatever. And so we got to the ER, and there was nobody there because it was like 2 in the morning, and they were like, oh, hey, yeah, come in. And then the nurses, they were all like super peppy and stuff, and they just ended up ordering me, like, some different medicine, and I don't really remember every single thing that happened, but after a while, I was okay, and so that's really good. I'm glad that I was okay, but it was still really scary, And then we went back to the camp. The camp's in the middle of nowhere, so it took us a little bit to get there, and, we went to sleep, and I don't even remember the other girls waking up. But I do remember waking up later in the day, and I was like, Carly, where you at? And she wasn't there, and I was like, did they really make this girl get up at like 7, 8 in the morning when she's been up with me this late? And so, they did, but they did let her take a nap later, which is funny. And you really have to understand the camp to understand where all this is coming from. It kind of makes sense. It's funny, but it makes sense after you've been there for a while. And so, I finally wake up, and I go down to the nurse's office because no one else is in the dorm. And they're like, oh, hey, Savannah, how are you feeling? And I was like, I'm pretty grand. I got lots of sleep. Thank you. And they were like, yeah, we made Carly get up, blah, blah, blah. And it was really funny. But, and so they were like, are you sure you're okay? You can go get some more rest. And I was like, it really sucks. My first day here, and I had an asthma attack. So I'm missing, like, the really big, not really big, but like the initiation day, kind of like where you make all of your friends. But luckily I had a little bit of base there, so I was okay in the end. And, come to find out, while I was asleep, not a whole bunch, but a select few of the girls that were in the dorm that night when I had the asthma attack were talking, I don't want to say talking bad about me, but yeah, they were talking bad about me. It's really sad to go to a church camp and have something that you can't control happen to you. And people that don't even know you decide that it's appropriate to talk bad about you. And I'm not going to mention any of the girls' names. I'm past it. I'm friends with some of the girls now. I don't even know that they know that I know. So anyways, we went through the rest of the week and it's really fun. And I would totally recommend to go to that camp. And if you're really serious about wanting to go to that camp, I'll let you know down below. Or you can just message me on any of my social media accounts. I will answer you eventually. Because, you know, it doesn't always notify you if someone you don't follow, like, DMs you or something. And so I try to check that periodically for any of y'all that are trying to get a hold of me. But so if y'all want to know anything about that camp, just let me know and I'll be ecstatic to share that experience with you, because there's more than just that 1 week. But even no matter what happened, that 1 week was still really fun, and we got to really connect with God and share that with all of our friends and, you know, grow together. And there's just something really special about that. And it's amazing. That place is definitely my home. And I would go back to that week again. I didn't go back last year. This happened 2 years ago. So it didn't happen this past summer, but it happened the summer before that. And that's when that happened. And, I mean, I would go back. The only reason I didn't last year was because of money. My parents told me to pick 2. And, so it didn't work out. And that's okay. I'd be willing to go back again this year. And if that works out, awesome. I'm excited. But anyways, so yeah, that's what happened. And I know that it's not like that dramatic of a story, but I figured to start off my story time videos, that would be a good place to start. So if you liked the story time video, I have some other ones like planned out that I can do. So if you liked it, go ahead and give me a big thumbs up down below, comment, and subscribe, because that really lets me know what kind of videos you do and do not like. So thank you so much for watching. I love you so much. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Mwah! Bye, babes!